So we have heard about the expression of a gifted child. They learn really well. But what about others? What about those students that is behind in their learning? And maybe some of them is having difficulty in learning. How can we help them as tutors? How to unlock the full learning potential of your student? So that is what we are going to be discussing today. So there are 5 points that I'd like to discuss on how to unlock the full learning potential of your student. The first way is to help your student to be more attentive. We know that the more attentive a student is, the more that he or she is able to absorb the knowledge. So that's why it is important for us to help them to be very attentive to the lesson. So that means that whenever we detect that they are distracted, they are not focusing on the teaching that we are about to embark on, what we can do is that it is very easy for us to ignore what the student is doing for fear that probably the student might not like us and that we might lose the student. But it is important to address it in a kind, gentle, tactful and patient manner so that the student will be able to pay more attention during lesson. Tip number 2 is to keep communicating with our student. We know that especially when we are trying to discipline or give them some good advice, easily sometimes they might might take offense, they might not want to learn or look withdrawn from the lesson. So it is vital that we keep encouraging our student and never give up on them. Never throw in the white towel. In my experience of being a tutor for more than 15 years now, I find that it is very important as a responsibility as a tutor to keep encouraging the students no matter what. So in my experience, I noticed that with all the students I've taught in the past and even now, I've never ever once gave up on any of them, because my responsibility is to keep on encouraging them and not to find a point where I just throw in the towel or just give up on them. But in the long run, usually they will improve and they will get better, and it is about hoping in them no matter what, and they will improve. Point number 3 is to encourage healthy living. So this might sound pretty obvious, but if we keep on encouraging our students to eat nutritious food, to exercise regularly, to have a proper sleep, as well as going on regular break or holiday, that will really contribute to better health and well-being. So when our student is healthy, they got a strong mentality, they will be able to learn better, and that is very good for them. Point number 4 is to be a personal tutor to our student. So that means that we need to get to know our student really well. What are their likes, dislikes, their passions, interests? What are their talents, their strengths, weaknesses? What are their struggles and challenges? So when we know them really well, we can really formulate something that works really well during the lesson. For example, if we find out that our students don't really like writing essays, so instead of giving the assignment at the end of the lesson when they might feel agitated or tired or even grumpy, it may be good to actually have the lesson right at the beginning, so that when they are feeling fresh and it's easier for them to do tasks that they does not particularly like. What is their learning style? According to the eduadvocate.org, it has this to say: by understanding the way each child learns, they can be taught through their unique style. Does the child love to read maps and charts? Do they like working with their hands? Also, finding the subjects and activities that interest the child enables them to be successful in the classroom. It encourages and excites them to know they have the skills and complete any task thrown their way. So that's pretty useful. And finally, point number 5 is to be a positive force to your student. It is good to assess growth in every learning experience. So whenever we detect that they did something well, no matter how small it is, and we can give positive feedback as well as good commendation to them, that can really boost their confidence, and that can really help them to succeed. So hopefully these 5 tips will help you and I to unleash the power within your student to his full learning ability. Thanks very much for watching, and see you next time.